Seifert. Pearsall. Here. Hutton. Here. Mendoza.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
Leahy.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Here.
And clerk is present.
Minutes for closed session 5-5 and special meeting on 5-13 and regular meeting minutes on 5-21. First all approved minutes from 5-21 meeting and closed session meeting for May 5th and May 13th. That's second.
Well, if those are all lumped together, I have to abstain from one and approve the other, so I don't know how you want to do that.
You can't vote yes sometimes, legal, it's up to you though, you have to.
I wasn't here, I don't want to. So,
It's your choice.
What one were you here for?
the 21st.
You haven't gone fire, do you? Have you got inspected? When?
You better have.
Should be a nice one.
Have a motion by Paul approve minutes for 5-21. Do I have a second?
I did too, years and years and years ago.
McDonald.
Yes.
Hutton.
Abstain.
Leahy.
Yes.
Mendoza.
Yes.
Pearsall. Yes. Bradshaw.
Yes.
Motion carried. Have a motion by Paul to approve closed session meetings from 5-5-25 and 5-13-25. Do I have a second?
Sure.
McDonald.
Yes.
Hutton.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
Mendoza.
Yes.
Pearsall. Yes. Bradshaw.
Yes.
Motion carried. Have presentations. Go to maintenance, Mike.
Okay, so we had a emergency for 904 Church Street, South Church Street. There was a tree that split on top. It was just hanging down. I got with Jack. We went up there, looked at it. It was it could have came down any time. So we saw tree removal come, and they actually came Friday and got the big V part that was falling down and kind of topped a little bit of the tree. They came back today and darn near demolished the whole thing. They still got just the stump in to grind it. I didn't know that they were coming back today. He called me this morning, said they might be able to come tomorrow. We got bad storms coming tomorrow. I was like, well, maybe I can come and do a little bit of work on it today. So they ended up coming. We flushed hydrants today. So I kind of had Mitch and Tyler flushing hydrants, and I was checking on the water tower and doing some other stuff. I had the kids painting today, so I really didn't pull the kids off to help do that, help clean up what Saul cut down. Between me and Stubbs, we talked, he could bring 2 guys and their wood chipper and an extra truck in today for another $200 and just leave the big chunks of wood for us to pick up and not the rest of the brush, because it was a massive tree. I thought that was beneficial to us. That is what happened today. They are going to come back hopefully later on in the week and get the stump out. And then This was their quote for them, and we'll have to add $200 for them, which is still very cheap, so the total comes out to $1,700. They would have beat us by, nobody would have beat them on a quote. I'm 100% sure of that. And for them to come later on that day and do it, that was really good of them. Moving on from there, we have our Mississippi Valley pump, our pump that went bad at the South Lift Station. That will need to get paid. Here's that invoice.
How much is it?
$4,235.
Motion by Casal to approve salt SB tree service to cut down top tree at 904 South Church Street, not to estimate $1,700. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
Yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Yes.
Mendoza? Pearsall? Yes. Brashaw?
Yes. Motion carried.
We have to make a motion to
Got the other one?
open pump. That's the pump.
Have a motion to pay the tree service for the Mississippi Valley pump service for $4,325. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, service.
I have a motion by Casal to pay MVP pump service for the amount of $4,325. Do I have a second?
Second.
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
Yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Brashaw?
Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, so I do not have an invoice for the deck for the mower yet. That has not came in.
Is it fixed?
They have not called me, so I haven't, I'll touch base with them tomorrow and see what the holdup is on that. I was able to take my computer in Friday and get it fixed. I got it back. I took it in, well, I had to take it in about 8 o'clock Friday morning. I got it back about 10 o'clock this morning, so I haven't really been able to get on it a whole lot today. We were pretty busy, but it is working fast. I printed out a bunch of stuff this morning, and it was quick. I enjoyed that.
Where'd you take it?
To Gabe.
In Fort Myers?
The total for that was $179.80, which is in my $200 budget.
Yep.
So we just kind of left it at that. Is that okay with everybody?
Absolutely.
Okay. Have that, take that. Okay, so on Memorial Day, our water tower ran dry. I was on call that weekend. We had a little issue with our chlorinator for our well 3. Our bubble on our gauge was getting stuck, so it was letting in a little bit more chlorine, and I'm having another issue with the water tower that I'm trying to figure out. I think there is a some kind of, I can't even think right now. Something's going on in the water tower where I'm getting backflow. Okay, so I don't know if it's a check valve up in the water tower that's starting to go bad, and we're starting to get a little backflow back into my pre-tank. So with all my wells shutting off, my pre-tank in the water, not the water tower, at the water plant is filling up, creeping up. It takes a while, it's not a overload or nothing, but it takes a while to fill up before my wells kick on to get it to that height, and then my booster kicks on. So I was having a little high chlorine residuals. They were still in my parameters, just a little higher than I'd like them to, and I couldn't figure out why. So I was kind of going out that bubble on my chlorinator on well 3. So I kind of dialed stuff down a little bit to even that out with that issue. I ordered a new chlorinator, and that came in, and we all replaced that, so we're all back to good on that. What caused the water tower level to go bad is called an ABB pressure transmitter, and that lets me know exactly how much water is in the water tower. On my PLC, up in the far right-hand corner, I have a picture of a water tower, and it gives me a footage of how many feet are in that water tower. And it never goes over 99.5. It just doesn't go overflow the water tower at that point. So when I came in Saturday, came in Sunday, with that chlorinator being off on well 3, I didn't want to shut off well 3, so I had them both alternating between well 3 and well 4, and I was coming back and checking on it, making sure all the levels were good. When I came in Monday, well 3 was running. That transmitter already failed, so it was telling me an incorrect reading on my water tower. So when I left Monday, I thought we had over 90 feet in the water tower. Apparently we did not. So I was getting calls about low water pressure, and I was kind of confused, so I came back, and sometime with the water tower draining, being completely drained, somehow my gauge dropped to negative on my water tower picture. But it was not like that when I left. I would have never left town if I thought we were going to run out of water. That would have never happened. So I called in Automated Systems to be like, what the heck happened? He told me that it was the ABB pressure transmitter that was letting me know the pressure of the water tower. Well 4 was not having an issue. If well 4 was running, I don't know what, it would have been good, I'm assuming, but we had well 3 running too, alternating. So with the new ABB pressure transmitter, I did get an invoice today for that, or a quote, I should say. So technically, well 3 still does not have that transmitter, and I am alternating well 3 and 4. Between me and the automated systems guy, we did a bunch of math, like good 2 hours worth of math, trying to figure out the formula to figure out how much was in the water tower running off of well 3. We got that. We were able to pump. As soon as I knew that the water tower was depleted, I shut off well 3 and I just ran well 4. Started filling up the water tower again. So that transmitter is a big vital process to our water tower. Now, all this stuff that's going bad is 20 to 30 years old. It's nothing that we purchased in everything that I've been having problems with is 20 to 30 years old. Those chlorinators, when I called, I had to give him an ID number on the side of it, and he laughed. He goes, "You know how old that is?" He's like, "That's probably older than you." And I was like, "Well, I'm 40. He's like, "Okay, it's not older than you, but pretty darn close. It's 28 years old." So they need to be replaced. That is not a cheap. Those are over $2,000 a piece, and we have 3 of them just at our water tower. We also have another one down at our sewer plant to chlorinate our discharge out to the river. The one at the sewer plants, I had an issue with. I ordered a couple new site classes for the other 2, hoping that will regulate the other ones, and I ordered a brand new one for well 3. And I don't think I don't know if I handed those quotes in, last time, or if I don't know if I have them yet. But, that transmitter is a vital
So
part
we
of
just
our
ordering
work.
one, or
I'm just ordering one.
what if we order 3 or 4, do you get a discount for ordering?
That ain't how it works. Now with these companies.
I'm trying.
Now with these companies, so I just ordered one, so I can have a brand new one on well 3, and I ordered a couple new sight glasses that we can change out on the other ones, and hopefully they will regulate how it's supposed to. We already paid that though, so
So this one's already been ordered, is that,
that has not. I have to verify that tomorrow. Unless he did order it, I'm not 100% sure. I told him to give me a quote before he ordered it, so I can bring it up to you guys. But it is a vital part of my well 3 distribution system.
so, and they're gonna install it?
Yeah. And see, that's a touchy subject too, because they don't warranty any of their stuff unless they come and do it. So that's another charge. It's just that I can't have them send that to me and then have an electrician do it, and then
Right.
if something goes bad, they won't
Is
warranty.
that including the installation?
No.
price?
No, that was strictly the
Or freight.
transmitter, it's smart.
Mhm.
That automated systems.
Need a motion to,
You want to wait till
I think if you can, I think it'd be best to be specific on the next agenda.
next meeting?
Yeah, I just literally got that on my email today, so I wasn't able to put it on the agenda, but I just want to let you guys know that was the issue with the water tower. And,
Also, the tree wasn't on there. I didn't realize that when I made the
No.
motion, so that one we'll have to do the next
The
meeting
3
too.
minutes.
Yeah.
okay, I apologize. Okay, so we need to,
The tree service, I didn't have that on the agenda, so the motion to read is negated.
You just pass it.
We'll just pass it.
Oh, for, 904 Church?
Correct. Yeah. Do you want this under ABB pressure transmitter, Mike?
what's that? I'm
Do you
sorry.
want it under ABB pressure transmitter on the next agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay.
anything else, Mike?
One more thing, but I think Susie's gonna touch base with it, it's the public yard waste. Now, we have that roll-off dumpster down at the sewer plant. Last year, it went pretty well, it filled up pretty quick. I've had it there for almost a week now, and I only have one thing thrown in there. So, we can let the public know that there is a roll-off dumpster down there for big items. Me and Pam also talked about, putting a memo out there for, maybe yard side pickup for the elderly that can't get down there to do that. The only issue I have with that is, last year, we did it by appointment. So they'd call me out and go down there, I'd unlock the gate, let them in, lock it up after they left. See what they were throwing away, because there's no electronics or anything, there's certain things that can't go in there, so you gotta make sure, because they'll try to put whatever they can in there. The only issue I have is there's a lot of people that are coming with trailers, not just the back of the trucks filled up, there was a whole trailer full of stuff. Now, if we do the roads, or, the curbside pickup on stuff, what's my limit of picking up stuff? Because I don't want to go around and be picking up
You're opening a can of worms.
in a roundabout way, yes.
Is that,
So do we put an age limit for the elderly? Or, I want to be fair to everybody, but I don't want to also spend 2 days just, all my guys driving around town picking up yard waste to throw in the dumpster.
Well, we have a large pickup that they just call the office and Susie sets it up. It's the first Friday of the month, I believe. So I think,
yeah, they pick up big stuff.
yeah, I don't know if we need to cater to these.
Yard waste they won't pick up though. If it's yard waste, that's something you never.
Oh, you want to pick up their yard waste too?
No, I was, they're junk that they want to throw in the dumpster.
When did we pay for that dumpster?
I don't
Well, we do.
think, I think we do, but it's cheap. right? Wasn't it only
Was it like $100, maybe? I don't remember.
It's included in the contract.
It's included in the
We
contract.
pay dumping
It's not
fees.
that big one that we do after the garage sale.
We pay dumping
Yeah.
fees. I don't mean to interject, but that's
We
what
had to
we
put that on the agenda before to approve that.
Yeah, we
We
did,
did, I think we did approve it before.
yes. We did.
Before,
In the last couple meetings?
Not this year, no.
No, but we have it, so don't we have to have it on the agenda?
It's not for
But it-
$200.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know it was that cheap. A lot of people probably need to get those.
Well, I think they're just doing it for us,
Yes,
because we
yes.
have that contract, yeah. But other than that, that's all I have. to
So
say.
are we gonna do it with just you carrying the phone and being on call?
Yeah,
to do
or
it?
Susie's already called me today. Lady said that she wanted to add some stuff there. It wasn't a whole lot. I just drove by, picked it up for her. It was a couple pieces of siding that she didn't have, couldn't go in the dumpster or whatever, so I just drove by, I picked it up, threw it in the truck, and threw it in the dumpster for her. But yeah, I don't want to open up that can of worms, so. It was almost easier for me just to go pick that up for her instead
Rather than making
of
an
do the phone
appointment.
calls and appointments to unlock the gate, because we were around all over the day, so, that I did, but like I said, I don't wanna make a habit of it, but if we wanna try it one time and see if, we can do a yard side pickup.
Are you talking yard waste or junk?
Junk side pickup or whatever. I'm not opposed to trying it once, but if it starts to open up a can of worms, then I don't know how we can stop it, you know what I mean?
Well,
So-
like I said, we have the guy that'll come the first month or Friday of the month, and I feel like if he's willing to do that for free, I don't know why we would ask you guys to take your time and,
And I think he picks up a pickup load, like it fits in the back of a pickup, he'll
Right.
pick it up.
We just have to make sure they call Village Hall then.
and, I mean, it's been that way since I've been on the board for quite some time.
Most of the time, if you write free on it, it's gone before
Yeah.
it's come.
But that's all I had. Does anyone have any questions? Just never question me about something. I want a question. I want a question. Give me a question. But no, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you have anything, Susie?
So for the yard waste for Republic, so we've had a lot of people inquire, folks don't burn here in town. I mean, we have a lot that do, but we have a lot that don't, and they wanna know what to do with their yard waste, and, why we don't offer that as part of our garbage contract. So I asked Republic to give me some quotes on that, on how it would affect our rates, knowing, of course, that would mean our rates would go up. So they got back to me, and I'll just give you the skinny. The service would include a weekly yard waste dump, right, from April until November. And it would be, every account that we have, every home that we have would get another cart, or another bin, or another tote, whatever you wanna call them. That would be specifically for yard waste. However, the rates would go up $5 a house. And that would be across the board. Republic, I asked them if they do like a subscription type service, knowing that that would be a nightmare for us, and they don't. Because they're pretty sure they're not gonna make money on that side of the contract anyway with yard waste. There's a lot of communities that want to do it, that their contracted refuse company won't do it. And so that's the best that they can do for us is $5 an account, that the rates would go up if we so choose to include yard waste in our contract.
So it would be all or none?
That's cheap.
Okay.
Well, it's cheap except for the fact that I don't do that. I burn all my stuff, and so why would I wanna pay an extra $5?
I just never said that word, we burn all that.
So, I mean, it's, like I
We
said,
can't control that.
I get it, I'm just
Because
saying, I just
they're not
think,
gonna make any money on the contract as it is, so they're not gonna start limiting it to a subscription, where you get to pick it. They won't do that.
A lot of the small communities I've drove through over the years do like a community pile, that way they don't have to pay for trash service, they put it all in one pile and the maintenance burns the whole pile.
Well, like Erie had their yard waste pile that they have, like we have up at the center, spontaneously combust like twice now.
It's a major problem.
So from a liability standpoint, you know, their insurance company is like, okay, you gotta do something about that.
And then you don't know what people are dumping in it too.
right,
And that's gotta be monitored even more than.
So,
Yep.
what do you want?
For years, the cameras, I'm waiting on another quote. I got a hold of Raycom, and they're the ones who actually put the system in. So they were going to give me a price on the one up here, and then they were gonna look into upgrades and some different things and give us quotes on that, so that should be in sometime this week. I have a question. For the park, has there been damage in the park or just the bathrooms?
Mike, can you explain it?
Just mostly the bathrooms that we can see. There is a bunch of litter up there, but I mean, it's at a park, you got a bunch of kids, there's garbage cans all around there, but they just don't use them. Nothing normally on the park side. We are missing one little handle thing on the rock climbing wall, but I don't know if that was vandalism or
Fell off.
fell off. But,
That needs fixed.
yeah.
There are holes in it.
So I would say just normally the bathrooms.
and are they still doing it, even though he's locking the doors up?
No, we're,
No,
it's,
we're not
it's,
doing
Okay.
it's, actually working out.
We could get time blocks for the bathroom, which would be a whole lot cheaper than cameras.
But that might also include getting new doors.
What's wrong with the
No.
cameras that we have now? I guess I'm lost. I mean, we have cameras for years, so we can't just utilize them?
We have,
Some of them have the, I mean, the pictures aren't that
Okay,
good,
well,
So this one in here, they
Yeah.
took it down, they don't know where's that.
Well, it's probably down in the police department.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
What, say
But
that
I
again?
don't know.
I said the camera that was in here is probably down in the police department.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Apparently. So,
I have no idea.
well, that's my guess. So,
You mean functioning or just sitting on a?
I think it was set up down there.
couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Not to interject, but when I was on the board, didn't we buy Wyatt a whole bunch of cameras for his interrogation room? Stuff
Probably.
like that, we approved a ton of money for that. not too
He
many
has
years
one
ago.
camera in there.
Where's the interrogation?
In
Downstairs.
their interview room.
In the basement?
On the left?
Yes. It's a left note, if you get down.
We just work up here. But it's Friday. I don't know. That's a good question. I can put that down to check, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Discuss and take action, repayment for car wash. Suzie,
Do
is
you
that
want-
you?
Sure. Okay. So, the first weekend of May, we had an issue at the water tower, and we were trying to conserve our water. So there were a couple of residents that had let me know they were going to fill their swimming pools. And so I contacted them and asked them to hold off until they heard back from me. And we also contacted the Trails End Car Wash to ask them to close for a couple of days until we could maintain our water level and not cause a water crisis for the entire village. And then we call them back when they could, you know, the first sign that they could open up. So they were closed for 2 days. And so we had a conversation about comping them because we asked them to shut down.
and this was all because of the aerator motor that went out, if you guys recall.
And without that aerator motor, the pumps can't run. I mean, So we didn't want to create we were trying to avoid a water crisis for the town, is what we were trying to do. So we had a conversation about comping them. So I ran their monthly average bill for a year, looked at what their monthly bill was, and we said comping them like 25% or $200 was fair for being closed for 2 days. So I contacted them, they returned my call and said that they want more money because they felt like they had lost $500 worth of revenue. So I asked for any type of report that could, I could present to you guys, so you could review it further to see if I was in the ballpark, and they don't have anything that shows that. So I asked for a car count, because then we could just do some math, and they don't have that either. So now it's up to you guys, they wanted to speak to someone higher than me, so I brought it to you to make a decision on whether or not you think 25% of their average monthly bill is enough to comp them, or if you want to talk to them further about, how they can prove how much revenue they lost during that 2-day closure.
I don't think it,
Bill?
and it was a rainy day.
Yeah, it was cloudy, it was raining.
It was, I was just gonna say that, so.
Because you asked them to close, so if you do that, you shouldn't.
So what?
I think it's okay to pay them something.
Okay.
I think you ask them
I think that's
You
more
asked.
than fair. I mean,
what the number is.
if you did the average,
I did.
Yeah.
And it's a rainy day, so people aren't gonna be
Well,
watching
they're
their
gonna
cars.
argue that because when I talked to her, she was upset. She said it was a nice sunny day. And
No.
I was looking,
I was
looking
downstairs
optimistic.
doing the sign up.
We can pull the weather history if we need to.
I was worried
We can
it
find it.
if that tells you how cold it was.
So, it was I don't know, I wanna make them happy. They did, help us out, but I don't want to get,
Again, you could open a can of worms because the people that you told don't fill their pool could say, well, we were gonna have a party that weekend and we had to cancel it because we couldn't fill our pool.
well, it'd be different, cause that's a business.
I think it is.
Well, and if, I mean, I don't mind paying them the 200, I just don't wanna think.
Right, and if they could show us, like, I'm a numbers person, so if they could show me, like, here's how many cars come through on an average weekend, we could do the math. And,
Yeah, we could authorize 200 tonight, and then if we provide more information, pay more.
So it's like downstairs.
so it's up to you guys, if you wanna increase that amount, or if you wanna keep that amount, or if somebody else wants to contact them.
I'm good with 200.
Yes.
I'm good with 200. I'm good with
Say pay
200.
with 200. 200 fair enough.
So it's on the agenda, so you can do it tonight.
We need a motion. so-
Yeah.
Just for the record, it was mostly cloudy all day that day.
Wow.
And that was Saturday, what about Sunday?
Pretty sure I had mittens.
Saturday, May 3rd was mostly cloudy all day.
Thank you.
It was all gray.
I had mittens on that day.
It was cold because we went inside, but it was hot.
No, that's the day it was Susie and I.
Oh,
But like I said, I'm pretty sure I had mittens and
I was wearing that.
standing there, but
Did you go wash your car?
Sunday was fair to mostly cloudy, there was no sunshine in the forecast on Sunday either.
So what I don't think they would have, no more than, I'm throwing out a ballpark, here, 40 cars over the weekend, 20 Saturday, 20 Sunday. You know what I mean? And what, or $6 per run.
I have a motion by Bradshaw, pay car wash $200.
Don't start that.
Compensation for closing the car wash, do I have a second?
Second.
McDonald,
You have two votes.
Hunting,
yes.
Lady,
yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Motion carried.
You're busy, I think. Good, good.
Discuss take action, employment of employees, hiring billing clerk and / chief of police.
That was over from last.
The ads are out. Yes, so we're taking, so I did just in case we have,
Good.
How long are we taking applications for? Did we put a date?
We do 30 days?
So, well, when you post it on the,
Blue line.
what's it called? Law enforcement.
Go law
Enforcement. It's a 90-day, but obviously you can pull it from there whenever you feel like you've got enough applications.
And who's getting the applications?
You and Jack.
I don't have any, so do you? Okay.
It probably just went out.
Yeah, I just posted it today.
Okay, good, because I'm like, I didn't see any. All right.
Building permit? Jeremy?
I have a question for you. In your yard, there's, if you look at mine on GIS, I'm lucky my house is on there. The rest of it is village property. So
Or easement. We
easement
got-
around
we got-
around your yard.
Well, it's the right of way, it's not an easement, from the sidewalk side.
Yeah, so that's,
It's city property.
Yeah.
You have the obligation to mow
Who does?
so,
The homeowner?
so what
it.
about,
If you're, I think your ordinance says that, does worse than easement.
Yeah, it does.
so what if it was like an abandoned alley or street that, I mean, it's not a street anymore, it's grass.
Well, if it's not been vacated, then it's village property, but it's not the responsibility to mow right of way like that in alley.
So, no, I
Unless you
mean,
have-
you mean vacated, it's not paved, it's been grass.
Well,
forever.
vacated have to be
But
an
it's-
ordinance vacated.
Yeah, it's not vacated.
It's probably just,
It's just not,
Unimproved.
yeah, it's just not being used.
so I don't know what your ordinance says on that, I can check, but it probably doesn't say that the homeowner's responsible for that.
Because I
Most
know
of them.
Joyce has maintained her alley the entire time they
Yeah,
own
most
the
do,
house.
I think, yeah.
Well, not everybody does though.
Okay.
She's got a pool
But I
in
can-
it
I can
as
check,
well,
but
so
I-
that makes it a little
Thank
wanting to do it.
I'll go through your ordinance and see, let you know.
So it's not considered an easement then?
It's not an easement, it's a right of way.
Okay.
It's literally owned by the village. Its purpose is only for right of ways,
And that
but
the,
you're not required to approve. So, so they say, well, I want to put an alley, that's up to you, you don't have to put an alley in.
then how can we vacate it then?
You have to do an ordinance, but once you do, then it becomes theirs and you can never get it back.
That's where my property is actually Water Street. I am built on the original Water Street, but that was vacated from the marina to the sewer
Mhm.
years and years ago.
So if it's just your easement around your house, you have to maintain
Yeah, there's no easement.
it? Or,
It's owned, it's a right of way owned. It's usually, most of them are 66.
but you have to mow it?
You have to maintain it.
Yeah.
According to ordinances, the right of way for a street. 66 feet, usually the paved portion's 33, so you got, if you do the math, 12 and a half on each side, you can be responsible for. 17 and
Okay.
a half, 16.
But the village is responsible.
33 divided by 60.
The homeowner's not responsible for a street that's there that's not maintained.
No, I do not believe they are. That's unimproved, I mean, that's improved.
It's weeds and trees and
If it's unimproved roadway, that's never been vacated, I don't think that the homeowner is responsible. Again, I'll check, but if it's improved, then you are responsible for that right of way where it is. Now, a lot of your streets, some of that have had surveys over the years, and a lot of your streets aren't exactly in the middle, where it's supposed to be that 33 feet, some of them are right on the edge. That throws everybody off. Because your streets in the middle.
What area are we talking about?
Okay, what's the property in question?
I was just driving around looking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't even know the addresses, but I was just driving around and seeing where some of it's really high and it's like near your house, but I don't know if it's in your yard. There's
there's one that goes by Eric's house.
yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, you can't even see the fire hydrant
And whose
anymore.
responsibility is it?
The city.
That's what we can check. If it's an unapproved alley, I'm not sure.
Anything else, Barry?
No, but along the highway, you have to know it too, if your house is on the highway.
Right. Turning your side. Everything, sir?
No, I don't have
Budget officer,
Nothing.
any reports?
This isn't really in my, it's for Kim, but, we brought it up, I talked to Pastor Tony about it. We painted that eagle block down there. We had an idea when they have their get-together at the park, is anybody opposed to putting kids' handprints on it? In color, just spruce it up.
Yeah, just turkey, just put it on the wall.
Yeah,
Nothing like, kind of what they did down at the park?
Yeah.
Or marina?
Maybe you better speak.
and then we would see, like,
Don't we have like plants that are growing up in front of it and,
there is,
I mean,
grass.
yeah.
This is fun for the kids.
What's the symbolism of the statue then?
Eagle.
Why did we have it put there? Like, what was, just to put,
Maybe
be
just,
put there?
yeah, I just,
I don't know if
I
it's.
don't know, there's still
Right,
some
some
rocks
rocks
that are there.
Or, yeah, that's like a
Okay.
memorial,
Memorial.
what, Randy Whitney's and,
Diane Ford.
yeah. And there's memorial plants there.
Well, I just think they'll be hidden by the plants and stuff once they grow up, but.
And I have nothing else.
Teresa?
We still have a lot of ATVs that are running around, not following the rules, don't have stickers. I thought about having another sign up. And then I think we
How many
need
do we usually do?
close to 100.
No, I mean sign-ups.
How many?
Oh,
Two. That being said, with the mess that was going on, they were later than they should have been, and then people just don't come. So, I thought I could do an evening, like from 4 to 7. And then I think if they don't come this time, I think at some point we have to start charging double, or we have to do something to make them understand that
You get one for my plate.
we all need a sticker. That's the rules. So,
No.
so anyway, June 16th or June 19th are 2 days that I would be available to do it. Anybody have a preference?
What are the days?
It's a Monday or a Thursday.
What was the date? Try either one.
I can do it on the 16th or the 19th. And like I said, I don't know if a Monday would be better for people or Thursday. But if I wait till after work, I won't be able to get here till 5:30. And once people go home from their job, they don't want to come back out. So I thought if I could try to get them as soon as they got home,
Just forget it.
but
I'd say it'd be one.
well, then I will just. I'll go with Monday, the 16th, from 4 to 7. Police department. And then I can tell you what happened on the 18th, and then we'll decide from there where we go from. Like I said, there's gotta be some sort of repercussions for not doing it.
Yeah, because when we did it, there were some that were 2 years old on it.
Oh, yeah, and I called them out on it too. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to 22. I like I said, we all supposed to play by the rules, so. And it's $35. Any other town around here,
More.
absolutely.
It's like $1,400.
Bolton's a hundred.
Mhm. So, I mean, it isn't like we're trying to gouge anybody or take advantage. So,
It's too much.
You have anything else, Teresa?
nope, that'll be it.
Utilities?
Not really, I just wanted to let everybody know that, I know that the water tower pressure thing and the water tower run and drive was a pretty big pain, but I spent a lot of hours up there with Mike, between there and the sewer plant. Didn't want him to have to be there by himself. I spent a lot of time up there with him, showed me a lot of things, showed me how things work, stuff like that. He put in a lot of personal time over the holiday weekend, so, I mean, hats off to Mike because, and Mitch, because Mitch was there with, in fact, the one time Mitch was there before Mike. We had to wait for Mike to get from Morrison, but those guys went, they put in a lot of time, a lot of hours in their own personal time on a holiday weekend, so, thank you.
Anything else, John?
No, sir.
Streets and alleys and sidewalks?
I called Chuck Bowsman to come in and do some quotes around town. Mainly the biggest one was the Church Street Hill. The pavement is not itself, we might talk about it, we think it's just about to the point that it can be repaved. It hasn't settled much after the last time we cracked it in there. The bigger problem is there's a channel alongside the road that needs to be replaced. It's like a curb gutter. Basically everything right now when it rains is getting washed out because it's not there anymore. So it's just, every time it rains, it comes down and it washes it back out. So I called Chuck to come and give me a quote on replacing the curb gutter. While he was here, I had to do some other stuff that's been on my list for a little while. I had when Joyce Tegler was still on the board, she contacted me about a resident at 303 Church Street who has, one of the residents, the wife is blind, the husband is handicapped, and their concrete out front, they've got two squares that kind of hinder them using walkers and stuff to get in and out of their house. So I had to come swing by and take a look at that. And when I first got on the board, I was asked about the retaining wall across the street here, kitty corner from the village, and what we should do about it. I kind of talked about it with Chuck. We walked over, took a look at it, and I think we're gonna go ahead and just remove it. And he's gonna grade it, so we don't need a retaining wall, because the retaining wall back there would be super expensive. So when he was here, I had to give me a quote to tear out the retaining wall and the sidewalk to make it all look copacetic and look nice. And right across the street from there on First, there's some really gaudy concrete chunked up real bad. I don't have any pictures, I'm sorry, but you take my word for it, I can come back with pictures next meeting.
Yeah.
I second that.
Mike's been up there, so, what I was gonna say is, my game plan going forward for sidewalks, I don't know when the chair changes, who wants to change it, but we don't have a school in town anymore, and I don't feel like our sidewalks are utilized hardly at all. Driving around town multiple times now, I've looked at all of them, there's a lot of them you can tell haven't been used in years. The only two streets that I feel like are an issue in this town, I think we should leave the sidewalks alone, is First and Bluff. I feel like First, because it goes up the hill to the road that goes out of town. People come over that hill fast, a lot, and there's a lot of kids in that area. Bluff's the same way, there's no stop sign, no traffic control, once you turn off First until you get all the way down to 11th. So I feel like those are the only two streets in town that if we're gonna repair or replace sidewalks, that's what we should do. The rest of them, when they go bad, take them out. They'll save us money when it comes to replacing roads too, because with the ADA Act, anytime we replace a road that has a sidewalk on it, if it doesn't have a ramp, we have to wait for engineering to come and engineer a ramp on a street that has a sidewalk, even if the sidewalk's not used. If we tear them out, we don't have to worry about that.
So if you do this sidewalk here, it's on 84,
Yeah,
so we'd have to put in a ramp.
we would not if we're not utilizing state money.
Oh.
If we're utilizing MFT money, I mean, repaving is expensive. We're not gonna have that in our budget. We're gonna have to use a lot of grants and state money to do it. If we use state money, anytime we touch a street that has a sidewalk near it, we have to get it up to ADA spec. More engineering, more money.
So the sidewalks that are kind of grown over, or
Just get rid of them. Mike,
can we just put dirt over the top,
Mike's-
seed
Mike
it,
says
call it
that
a day?
him and his crew can go in there, tear them out the back,
I wouldn't
or
even tear
form
them
them,
out.
cover them with seed.
I just put some dirt on it.
Or some of the ones that are more grown over that are really bad, that are almost completely grown over now, can be covered in dirt.
Just need to make sure you're not on the people's property.
Yeah, that's the only thing we have to worry about.
That's their yard,
Yeah.
you got permission.
Yeah. so. But, I'll pass this around.
If I do get permission, that has to all be in writing, right? If we go
Yeah,
and do
it's
this,
gotta be in
and get a
writing.
contract or something that we
So
have.
this is the quote for everything. He broke them down into individual jobs. He did quote the one up on the corner of Church and First as 100 foot of concrete. I elected to make it 50 because I don't think it's worth repaving the Church Street side of that block because the rest of the sidewalk from where he wants to go down is crap. So I cut that down to 50, which is basically just the sidewalk on First. I'll pass it around. You guys want to look at it? The Church Street hill to do the gutter was 3 foot by 60 foot long. He's gonna put 6-inch thick concrete in there with rebar, and the total cost for that was $2,400, which I don't think is a bad cost at all to do all work.
All those are just, I mean,
These-
it's
all these-
just like,
all-
like
yeah,
saw
all-
cutting people.
All these
You're not
quotes
gonna be-
are significantly under anybody else that I could call. I can promise you that. If you want more quotes, I'll call and get them, but I'm telling you, Chuck does good work for good price. To do the 301 Church Street job up there across from where the retaining wall and sidewalk would be, just the First Street side is $1,450. If it's 4-inch thick concrete, it has to be 4-inch thick concrete. Another reason why I think we need to take sidewalks out, because 4-inch thick concrete gets kind of pricey. Across the street from that, on the corner, to take the retaining wall completely out, grade it, 150 foot of concrete from the top of the hill down to the bottom. Another reason I forgot to include, I want to leave that alone, is that is the only street we have that comes from up the hill, down the hill, that goes across the street to the marina. We don't have any other street in town with a sidewalk, for anybody that would want to walk down to go fishing or anything on a sidewalk. Everything else is roads, and it's the only one that has a sidewalk that connects down here to this side.
What about Eddie's?
It doesn't have a sidewalk.
He's got one out front, but not one.
No, okay.
He's got an old sidewalk in front of his house, but that's it. This is the only one we have that has a sidewalk. Across the street from that, to do the wall and all that, that is 4 foot by 150 foot of concrete, tearing out the wall, repouring the sidewalk. He's gonna bring the sidewalk out so there's not an issue, and he's going to grade and fix the hill so there's no longer a retaining wall required, is $4,620. And then the square in front of the handicapped and the blind couple's house is only $480. So for all of it put together, it's $8,950. I wrote in the individual motions. If you don't want to do them all right now,
Well, I personally would like to go look and see what you're talking about.
okay, sure.
Because you've just been nonstop talking, and I don't even know what, sorry.
I think Church Street Hill.
What wall are you talking about?
The one right
This
there.
squarely looking retaining wall is barely standing and held up with rebar sticking out of it, the concrete.
In your yard? Okay, so you just want to take that out
Remove it, completely take it out.
and not put a sidewalk back there?
No, sidewalk will go back with the wall will go back, so we won't worry about the cost of
Straight
retaining.
down.
He's gonna
and
grade,
see what-
he's gonna move the sidewalk 3 foot out. and
I'd have to
grade it.
even go outside and look right now, to be honest with you, I don't know what yours is. Do people use that sidewalk?
Yes. That's why I said it's the only one that goes down here to the marina either, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, while we got a moment, the sidewalk in front of my house gets a lot of traffic,
Okay.
so I'd like that to be noted.
Sure.
Yeah, I need to see that go away. A lot of people use that.
Nope, I'm getting around town.
And it's in, bad shape.
Yeah. I'll make a note of this.
So then what are you gonna do with the sidewalk when they cross 84? What about that sidewalk that's,
I've still gotta get to that side.
because that's,
I haven't got that far, I didn't realize how that.
so you're gonna get them across the road, but then,
That one's worse. I can call him back, that's fine, you wanna hold off on it, that's fine. We don't have to do them all here, we're on individual motions.
You don't need to bid it, you're on the limits.
What's that?
You don't need to bid it, you're on the limits.
Yeah.
what's that?
Doesn't have to be bid.
Oh, we don't need estimates or? That's up to you. Like I said, I'd like to look at it, and I can vote anyway.
There's gonna be sidewalks that everybody can walk on?
What's that?
Is there gonna be sidewalks that everybody can walk on and not
Yelled at.
get yelled at?
I mean, it's the plan, I don't think these sidewalks will be any issues, but
I'm out there, nobody walks on my sidewalk.
I don't know, like I said, I'll pass it around, get my notes of that real quick, and then while you're looking at that, I'll go on to the next part of my department. I took over a zoning officer a while back, and I have come to find out about some things around town. First thing was the Benson's ordinance violation fees that they were issued. The one for $100 for illegally constructing a fence in front of their ramp, and the other one for that little bitty woodshed that was out back of their property. I also found out that Trails End Car Wash was issued one for what they did. As an act of good faith, I want to forgive Benson's for both their ordinance violations because I don't agree with either one of them. My reasoning behind it was the second one, the woodshed. I was made to go down there and issue the violation after our previous mayor had witnessed him building it and chose not to go over and talk to the owner of the establishment and discuss it with him.
Is it still a violation whether?
They haven't even, it is what, I mean, they got a $100 fine for it. So, I mean, I don't know how we have to go about.
Well, you're setting a precedent. You'd have to be
Yeah.
very distinguished here because
Well,
a lot of people that pay the fine, you're.
no, they have not paid either one of them.
Oh,
No, neither one of them have paid.
I think you have to be careful because you have to carve out an exception that would apply to everybody in that particular circumstances.
Okay.
You can't pick and choose.
Well, I guess I'll move on to why I feel this is the thing. The second to last newsletter we sent out with our bills is the first time that anybody can assure me that it's been put out there anywhere that our village has something where you have to get a building permit. That's the first time I've seen it in any newsletter since I've been here in 7 years, that nobody else can give me any clarification.
I would ask Danny. He did
Well,
it before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, nobody, I don't believe anybody, everybody I talk to says, you know, do I have to have a building permit? I didn't know I had to have a building permit. Well, that second to last newsletter went out, they added a line on there saying, if you're gonna do any construction, you're gonna do this, please apply for a building permit. So I don't understand how we're throwing out zoning ordinance fines for building permits not being
I don't know,
applied for.
everywhere I've ever lived, you do any, I mean, even bringing a water heater in your house, you have to have a permit.
Okay.
Any structures outside, you gotta have a permit.
Just bringing it up, like I said, I don't know what everybody thinks about it, I just, you know, they're not paid, I don't think they're
Well,
gonna
but
get paid.
ignorance of the ordinance doesn't preclude you from
Getting
not being
No.
violated for following.
Every town has a
right?
building.
Okay. Well, I just figured I'd bring it up and see what everybody thought. I don't think they're gonna get paid from Benson's side of things. The Trails End one has already been paid, but Benson's is announced publicly that they're
I think
closing.
that's it.
Are they all the same here?
They're all $100. Everybody has been issued one. So, Trails End was issued a $100 one and they paid it, and then Benson's has been issued two, and they haven't paid either one of them. So, and I don't believe, based on my conversations, they're gonna be paid. So that's just based on my reading on speaking with the owners. And now they're closing, so. I just figured I'd bring it up, see what everybody thought, and, you know, if it's gonna be a slippery slope, then we'll leave it alone, but thought I'd bring it up.
Can we vote on the sidewalks tonight, or are you pushing
That's
that
why I put it
out?
on the agenda. I mean, Teresa says she wants to hold off, I mean,
You guys can vote. Don't blame it on me.
You can make the motion.
okay, so I have motions here for every single one of them, so you can go individually on which ones you guys choose you wanna do. All this money is in my department, so the only one I wanted to ask about though was that Church Street Hill. I'm not familiar with this part of things. Being that that's part of the street, is there a different line that's come out of for the money? Because the lines I was planning on using for the rest of these.
I mean, as far as your budget.
Yeah.
The way your budget's set up, I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'd talk to Susie about that, because I'm not really sure, because the rest of these can come out of my line for improvements, not streets. This is technically considered a street, so I didn't know where we should take that out.
Is Bosman's quote based on getting all of them, or is it?
No, he wrote them individually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is he gonna come over here to do the side? The only one I even know about is the sidewalk in front of the elderly people. Those I don't know anything about, so, I mean, if he only gets one, and he's not gonna wanna come over here for,
He did the one in front of Howard's for the same price. It was, I mean, even cheaper than this, and he came over and did that by itself. So I'm sure he would. She just called me Friday and asked me what we were doing with this, so I figured I'd bring it up and see if we could get a solution. But I'll pass those over and you guys can decide what you want to do.
I have a motion by Mendoza to hire Chuck Bosman Concrete to repair channel alongside of South Church Hill, cost not to exceed $2,400, 3 by 60, 6 inches thick with rebar. Anybody?
That,
McDonald?
oh, I'm sorry, by the way, that job, when he's done with it, he's going to also run a small bit of cold patch along the top to make sure the gravel that's there does not run back into the new channel. And basically, when we decide to resurface it, we should be able to run right alongside of that and resurface the road. So it shouldn't create any issues. The way he's doing this with rebar will also prevent it from washing out anymore with the gravel that's there. Go ahead, Jessica, I'm sorry.
Okay. Mendoza?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
No.
Leahy?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Bradshaw?
Yes.
Motion carried. Have a motion by Mendoza to remove and replace sidewalk on First Avenue north side of the 300 block, cost not to exceed $1,450, 4 by 50, 4 inches thick. Do it second.
Right across the street from the top of this hill. It's Mike can attest to it, he came out there looking at it. It's,
Is that the elderly couple?
Is there
No.
four of them that you're putting out here?
Across the street from me.
there's 4 sections.
On the other
There's the
side.
street on Church, there's the hill, gutter on Church.
Okay, that's okay.
Just put your sidewalk, if you take the 15 wall down, is it okay?
No, 34 inch sidewalk.
Yeah, it's across from me.
So both sides are getting done?
No. Once this section's done here, the hill coming down to the main street, just across the street from that, on that next block, that whole sidewalk will be fine. There won't be anything that needs attention.
No, I meant by his retaining wall.
That'll all be fresh sidewalk.
Okay.
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
No.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Bradshaw?
Yes.
Motion carried. I have a motion by Mendoza to tear out squares by steps to 3 by 20, hallway, 4 inches thick, room finish, cost not to exceed $480. Do I have a second?
I read the address on that, Jim.
No, you did not.
You want to jot that on there? That's the 303 Church Street.
What was it?
303 Church Street. North Church Street, sorry.
Do I have a second?
I'm sorry.
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
Yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Pearsall? Yes. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Motion carried. Have a motion by Mendoza, tear out sidewalk 4 by 150, plus tear out retaining wall, hallway, reinforced sidewalk, 4 inches thick, room finish, grade area, and cut concrete, cost not to exceed $4,620. Do I have a second?
McDonald?
Yes.
Hutton?
No.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Bradshaw?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Then I wanted to ask about this email I got, because I think you got it too. It's an opportunity for funding, it has to do with, emergency situations. Looks like we got something after the derecho. That's for the hazard mitigation program. Did you get this email? Did you come up with anything on that? Because we didn't, we can answer the next meeting to talk about it. Okay, table that for the next meeting, please, because I just got that one. The deadline to apply for that, to come up with something is June 20th. So.
Okay.
And the last thing I got is the streetscapes project that was brought up, sounds like almost 15 years ago. Jason from MSA finished applying for the application for us to get funding. In that grant, he applied for a total of 3 different projects. I had it at 8, he combined them into 3. It was a total of $1,490,000 we applied for. It's a complete mill and overlay at Church Street, Bluff Street, 6th Avenue South. Mike had maps for it all. We went out together and did this. A mill and overlay at Lime Street, Riverview, all of Riverview. At $450,000. That first one was $460,000. And then the design of Church Street in 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue North, 3rd Avenue North, 4th Avenue North, a complete mill and overlay with ADA and sidewalk improvements at $150,000. The streetscapes project was only covering, this is not the total cost of the project, but this was including phase 1 and phase 2 of the engineering to start the streetscapes project down the road at $430,000. All that was applied for in grant money. We have to wait and see what we get back on that. I don't know when we'll hear something. I believe it's gonna be a while.
Do we have to match funds or
No,
something?
there's no match required.
We don't have to pay for anything, that's the engineering or
No,
anything?
that's the one that he was here for, that he talked about, the $400 million that he
Yeah.
was gonna.
He said that.
But that's time sensitive, isn't it?
It's already been applied for. So
Okay.
they'll
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good, no, it was due yesterday and he got it submitted, so it's in for review and we'll wait and see what happens.
And he also said that the low income municipalities are one of the first to get it.
Yeah, so we should
Maybe us.
hopefully
We
hear
got
something
it.
back sooner than later, because we don't have anywhere near enough money to do all this on our own.
The only issue is, we're 2 years out on that, right?
Well, it's a 2-year turnaround is what it says, so I'm assuming by the time they hand out all the money, it's gonna be 2 years' time. So hopefully it's sooner than later with the low income communities that need the help.
It might be another year to a bunch of cold patch.
Old patch and
We kind of fill in
lines.
until we can do the main thing, so.
And that's all I had in my department. I can pass this around, you guys want to see it.
Cemetery and parks.
We're still gonna work on that. Still working on that tree up there.
Thank you.
Health and safety, nuisance.
I had the time bathroom lock on there, and I showed him some, and he thought it looked good.
Yeah, we should look into it. Time
How
on
much
some
were
bad
they?
ones would be pretty.
They were anywhere from 100 to 500. The 500 one
You know what I
was
mean?
like the steel door and,
I
yeah.
don't know, so, I don't know.
You still work on
Go into old business.
I had a question about the $1,400 for weeds that you guys did last time. I wanted to clarify that's one spraying. Okay.
Start of the season, next season, total.
What do you mean?
Per application.
Oh, per application.
Per application, that's what I was trying to say. It's
Okay,
per
gotcha,
application.
gotcha.
So if weeds start growing in 8 weeks, we have to pay $1,400 again. In my,
No, if we have a problem where they're controlled, and they
They'll
will
come back and fix it.
They will fix it.
This was just a spring and a fall.
This is just the initial application.
They're all two.
because at one point, I thought Mike was gonna start doing that.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Well, like I said, $1,400 is a lot of money, so, okay.
I think it pays.
And then I have a question about the River Fest, the $500 donation. We've never given to the River Fest before, so I wondered who asked for it and what was decided.
I think Jimmy will.
Jim asked for it, my understanding was we've done it before. I wasn't part of that at that time, but Jim is the one who asked for it, and my understanding was that once it became Riverfest, instead of being this flame thing, that the city did make a donation, and that's why he asked again. I wasn't part of it when we first started it, but that was my understanding.
Well, I don't recall giving to it. That's why I wondered what happened that we decided to, just because.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Part of Albany.
What's that?
I think we should because it's part of Albany.
Okay. Well, like I said, we provide a lot.
we did it, the last meeting, so when you were here.
Yeah, I know, that's why I'm asking, that's why it's old business for me, because I wasn't here.
Right.
It's fast.
Yeah, I have a question real quick. Okay, so talk about the applicator license. Now, if I go through that and go through the classes and take the test, pass the test, is that something you guys are making me do, or is that something that I'm gonna pass this and I get compensated for? Or if this is something that, my applicator license is already means. Is that something you guys are making me do, or I wanna do it, don't get me wrong.
Well, what are you asking? Are you asking for more money?
$70 an hour.
It sounds like to me that you're, because before this was never ever brought up. And you were supposed to go. You already signed up and everything, and this was never brought up until now. So that's why I'm wondering what you're asking, I guess.
No, I actually did that on my own money. It was a $25 setup fee. I paid that for that myself. My son was having some medical issues, so I did not do it. That was the reason why I did it. Otherwise, I probably already had it right now, to be honest with you.
Well, the $25 you didn't need to pay, but
No,
that's
I know,
beside
but
the point, okay?
Well, because what I was thinking was, come to find out, so if I get this license and I ever left here, that license stays with you guys.
Right.
Okay, and I don't get to take, if I went to another municipality, I would have to do that all over again to let that stay there.
Why would the
Which-
license stay with the
It
village
is,
when
it
you're the
is
one?
very
that-
odd. I was wondering that because I know other people are straight.
So we could have
He's
3
doing-
people go to this
he's-
and do $25 and,
He's essentially getting the license as for the village of Albany is what he's doing.
Right. So if I went to any other municipality, I wouldn't be able to spray for them unless I had that license for that municipality.
this is the first time I'm hearing that too, so.
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I know Nate had a license.
Right.
But I don't know if it was actually through here or not.
Is that license yearly or?
I'm not 100% sure.
It has to be honest with you as well, because it might be still-
Sounds like we need to look into it.
I'll look into it more. I was just gonna go and do the class and take the test and see what it was. You know, they say it's a fairly simple test as long as you can read and understand solutions, you know, mixing solutions. So I still plan on doing that.
Anything else, Mike?
No, I never did get an answer, I guess, whether you guys were making me do that or if that was, I get compensated for doing that.
I think it just goes with the job.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think Nate ever got anything extra with it.
New business?
I only have a couple things. First thing is, for Bill, when I first took over zoning officer, I was told that I was not able to be compensated for doing it. And I'm finding myself spending a lot of time doing this, and I wanted to verify that there's a reason why I can't be compensated.
It's important if an ordinance that said to be compensated.
Okay. But is it-
Yeah, I think I have a minimum, I'll get that.
I didn't know if that.
I think that came out in
We had a former maintenance.
Well, I think, I have to check, because you're, as a trustee, it's different, because you
Okay.
gotta know two
I just
jobs.
wanted to verify, make sure.
Yeah, I'll verify that.
Okay.
I think that we have something in that ordinance that we did before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Jason, now, anything?
Not tonight.
Lloyd?
Yes, please, thank you. I'd like to clarify the whole fines for building permits. That all stemmed from former zoning officer Danny Bedler. He was hell-bent on finding Trails End Car Wash, and we weren't as a board, but that's his call. And we told him, if you do this, then there's no going back. We're gonna start finding everybody. And that's exactly how Benson's ended up getting fined. So, just to clarify that. I'd also wonder, do we have a floodplain manager yet? Okay, is there a, just kind of feeling around for one now, or looking for one? And how about IEMA as the Yosemite Patrol Officer? You guys have that covered yet?
I'm doing that.
Okay, so FOIA officer?
Pardon?
That's questions I have for Bill.
Okay, well, I did get a FOIA I had written filled today, and just to clarify, you can't make up your own rules on how much you charge people. The first 50 sheets are free by law. You don't charge per sheet for 15 sheets. Those are free, okay? I'd like to go back to Mr. Brashaw saying these guys were spending personal time over the holiday. Was that a misspoke, or were they actually volunteering their time?
Well, no, they're employees of the village. I mean, they had to come in and do it, but it was, I'm just saying, it was a holiday weekend.
I understand. I misunderstood you.
Yeah, no.
Aaron, I didn't hear any street mention 3rd Avenue South, which I believe might be the most traveled road in this town, between the post office and the bank.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you mention that on all these overlays. Riverview's getting overlaid in these things. You never mentioned 3rd Avenue South, which is, again, I think the most traveled street in town off Main Street.
No, I can come, I mean, I've been around town, is it really bad? Is it in really bad shape?
Do you ever turn down that street?
I go down that street, I
Okay.
know the transition from the street to the
Yeah,
third
check
is
that
rough,
out.
but I'll take a
Yeah,
look at it.
please.
Yes.
Along with the sidewalk too, which we
Sure.
talked about.
Yep.
And then, I believe that's it. I appreciate your time. I think that's all I have.
Pastor?
I just want a little bit of money. Again, the Albany Community Support Group is going to have the free Family Fun Fest this year. It's be on July 19th this year. We've brought it forward a bit so that we're not conflicting with the Whiteside County Fair. So we're looking for sponsorships of 50, 100, or 150, and of course, if anybody wanted to double any of those, we wouldn't say no, but, you know, they're, again, like last year, there will be a listing of everybody that contributed. It'll be on all the signage. This year, we're going to do an event t-shirt, so if you sponsor, you get a t-shirt, and they're gonna be for sale at the, and I know that you need things in writing, so there's the official letter, but rather than just sending a letter, I wanted to come and
When is
ask
the-
you for the, you did donate last year, so, July 19th, it's a Saturday, and we need to know by June 17th so that we can get the t-shirts made. We're going to use, Banners is going to do the t-shirts for us this year, so we're working with local people.
Well, go ahead, my good words.
Are you able to get a hold of place it?
Yes, you go.
Yeah, I got a hold of Jim and Joyce, but yeah.
But it was a huge event last year. It was the first time out, well attended, and
Competing with the fair.
yeah, and the thing is to be able, that's what we are trying to do as a community support group, is to do things for families and things where you don't have to pay a lot of money, that the community, and the community's been very supportive, and hopefully, we do have 2 donations that have come back already, so hopefully we can make it bigger and better every year.
Thank you.
So could we just like tell her we're gonna donate, but then actually do
Vote
it?
on it the next meeting.
Yeah, on the 18th?
Commit,
Because we did this last year, we did.
yeah.
Motion, well,
We keep,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
What did we do last year?
we can go ahead and do
I don't remember.
I think
I don't-
it was 200.
What's, there's like tiers, what was the?
50,
100 or 150.
We did 100.
Yeah, I would
I
assume.
want to say it was 100.
100, maybe?
We upped the
Okay.
levels this year because, well, we don't know that we'll have the generosity we had last year from one person gave us a really big check, and I don't know if we'll get that again, so we want to, make sure that we can keep it free, but I believe the village gave $100 last year.
What did we give to the Easter fund for that?
300.
300.
300.
That was 300.
Like I said, if you put that on the.
Yeah.
Do we all get shirts then?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Y'all want to be a sponsor?
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say,
I got my letter.
I was just gonna say,
$50
and I
from all of you.
was Dee sitting back there, and I would say, her and I will personally donate, And I challenge any of the rest of you to personally donate. I will get with you tomorrow, and Dean and I will personally donate.
You're on.
You're on.
I challenge anybody else to personally donate,
Thank you, Rob.
100%.
I'm not gonna get 500 like you are.
Anybody want to go into closed session?
I do.
Yeah, just stay with us.
Employee, employee.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Hutton to go into closed session at 7:21 for employment of employees. Second.
McDonald? Button?
Yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Abstain, I gotta leave.
Pearsall? Yes. Rick?
Yes.